here. Today we will see loops, arrays, and if possible methods. Loops, there are 4 types of loops with C# available. One is the while loop, and another one is the do while loop, and the next one is for loop, and the for each. For each is mostly used with objects and arrays, and for all collections and latest practical handling, we will be mostly using for each. For loop we will be using. While loop and do loop use less. For each we use more. I have written 4 methods for each of them. One method for each of them. Totally 4 methods. These are pretty old things available with every language. And the while loop will execute those statements within the loop until the condition is met. Condition is true. Here I have written a simple loop where it will print the table, third table, for 10 numbers. Generally the table will be 1 to 10, so we have given for a table up to 10 numbers. Here the program is while a less than or equal to 10. So until I have declared and initialized the variable a in the top with the value 1. So it will start from 1 until it is 10, it will print, and we have to increment the value in the while loops. So I have incremented it. A++ will, it's an incremental operator, it will increment single digit. So it will start with 10 and it will run until the condition is met, and it will print the numbers one by one. Now I will run this one. See, it is printed from 3 to 10. It's 3 tables result alone. You can note down homework sort of thing for you to practice. You make it in the way as exactly in the table. That is 3 into 1 is equal to 3. Like that it should print. Note down this as a homework and you can come up on Monday. You can write the program for your practice.
Okay.
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 Actually, do while is another way of running while loop, whereas it will tell first do this until the condition is met. In the earlier case, it will tell while the condition is true, do this. So, if condition is given first, then only it will enter the loop. Whereas in this option, first it will print, do the action within the statements within the loop, then it will check for the condition. If a condition is true, it will continue. If it is false, it will quit. So this loop will execute at least once, even if it is true or false, it will execute the loop one time. Here I have given variable b initialized with the value 15, and printed the value, while b is less than 14 I have given. Actually I have given the value of b as 15. So if it is the while loop, this loop won't get executed. As this is a do while loop, it will execute once and it will check the value of b, and the value of b is 15. So it will exit and it won't continue. Now I will run this one.
Actually, it should be B minus minus, right?
No, actually you can keep it anyway. Here to explain this concept I have given this program. If you want to go in incremental way, you can give it that way, or if you want to go in a decremental, here there is no purpose of the plus plus. Just for a loop understanding that it will execute once even the condition is false. I have given this. So we are not printing anything here, so you can ignore that. But you can use it in way. You can use this loop in on situations where if you want to give choice to the user, and then the user has to select from the choice and then continue. For those kind of situations, you can use this loop.
Okay.
Yeah. For loop is a simple loop where it will execute a set of statements for a particular number of time. Whereas you need not increment here. In the while loop, you will give the condition alone, whereas in the for loop, you will give the starting value, the ending value, and the increment. Those three things will be given in the for statement itself. For example, for int, increment is equal to 1. You have to start from 1 and loop until the increment is less than or equal to 10. And for every iteration, you have to increment it by 1. So this is the for loop, and it will print the value increment into 5. It is a 5 table sort of thing. The shortcut key for commenting and uncommenting, with the toolbar you can have to select like this. You can select a single line and give, this is the option icon for commenting the lines. It will comment. The next one is the uncomment thing. You can select multiple lines and also do. Control K C is the command line for commenting a line or a block. If you select a single line, it will come. Control KC will comment that line. You select multiple lines and put Control KC, it will comment the entire block. Control KU will unblock that command. Similarly, you can. There are a lot of shortcut keys with Visual Studio. If you learn them, then you can do programming and other operations in a faster way. So they have wrongly executed the uncommented wrongly. Actually, I thought the order was the above order. So last time the for loop executed, the while loop now it got executed. Hope you understood it. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. See, we have a string. This is for declaring arrays. You have to give like this. The data type, square brackets, then the variable name will be in single dimensional array. Next topic we will see in detail. Here I have given a single dimensional array named with the variable name days and given Monday to Sunday. For each loop we will iterate through objects or arrays and we widely use that in modern day programming languages. This is a later introduction. Earlier while, for loop were the standard options of any language, earlier languages. This was introduction into the modern day programming. It came later from them. And for each string, the name day, similar to int I, we are saying string day, in days. Days is a array variable. So for each day in the above days, do this loop execution we are telling. Console.write line, we are printing the name. So this will all the
Once again, what that in will do in it's a expression or
that in means for each and every item in the collection, they do the set of statements given inside the loop is what we are mentioning. For each days is a collection sort of thing, and day is a individual item in it. For each individual item in the collection, do the loop we are telling.
In Java we'll use equal here using in.
What?
In Java we will use equal to instead of in for each loop. Here we are using
most probably with the Java and the C# both will be similar, very similar with most of the things.
Yeah, here that in will do sending the values from Monday to Sunday one by one.
Yeah, one by one.
Okay.
See, it is printed. This will be using extensively in our practical development. So we practice this well, and in many places for individually doing, we have to give a lot of statements, whereas this option will simplify and do our number of lines of coding. It will reduce looping concepts. I hope this is clear, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually I have a single query.
Yeah.
We have used console.writeLine in all these methods, but we are not including console.readLine somewhere. So
see, here I have given read key.
okay.
Inside the method there is no option to read, but here in the main method I have given. For
okay.
every method I have given the control.read key. So that's why it stopped. So it stops in this.
Okay.
here Visual Studio will tell how many references are there. This is how many references this method has adulted. If you have referred this method in many places, it will show the exact count actually. By that you can understand the impact of this method in the overall solution. If you are going to work on the framework later point of time, if you are touching any method, first of all you have to look into the references. If it is referred into one place, you can go there and see the impact, and if you are making any changes, you can do. If the number of references is more, then you should not touch that, or you should create instance, polymorphic instance, and then work on that. That should be the approach.
For remaining method, it's showing as 0 reference. No?
Yeah. See,
but that each one is showing 1 reference.
Wait. I'll show you. I'll explain.
Okay.
See, as I have commented, it was showing 0. Now I have removed the comment, it is showing.
Okay.
We got it here. For arrays, this is a pretty old type of declaring array, and it is still being used. And apart from this, we have other options with modern programming languages. With the earlier one, we had with the C, C++ and other things, we had a single dimensional and multi-dimensional array. With the introduction of the object-oriented programming and modern day things, they added many more things with that. And one such thing is jagged array. So we have the pretty old option of single dimensional array, multi-dimensional array, and jagged array. Single dimensional array is one we saw in the earlier program. I have given the same example here. How we declare is data type, square brackets, variable name, semicolon. If you want to initialize, you can give data type, square brackets, variable name is equal to, within the curly braces you have to give the value separated by comma depending on the data type. For example, here see, if you see example 1, integer square brackets numbers is equal to integer of 10 means it will have 10 array elements it will have. This is the size of the array. This square bracket tells the dimension, this tells the size. This is declaring an array. On the second line I have given sorry, int square brackets mark is equal to new int without mentioning the element size. I am leaving it blank and doing the initialization. If I do it in such a way, then it will count the elements and it will assign the corresponding value here. So this is how you need to initialize an array. This statement is declaring and initializing, both it does. Here coming to this example, the days I have given as Monday to Sunday, and this is a single dimension array. I am using a for loop and printing the values. This is a single dimensional array as it has only one dimension. Multi-dimensional array can be 2 or more numbers. See here, if you are giving a multi-dimensional array, you have to give like this. Inside the square bracket, you have to give a comma. If you give a single comma, it is a 2-dimensional array. Any dimension more than 1 is a multi-dimensional array. Here I have given an example of 2-dimensional array, and the right hand side will tell the how many elements you are going to have. Here I have another example with initialization. This is just declaring. This initializes and that value will get stored. Here in the example I have given row column as an option. Int square bracket within comma row column is equal to, for a single dimension you directly gave the value, as in the Monday, Tuesday, like this, you directly gave the single dimensional. Here, as this is a two-dimensional array, you have to give two values. Within a curly brace, you have to give another curly brace you have to start, and within that you have to give values for the two elements. Similarly, comma you have to give for the next element, like that you have to give. For a single dimension, you use a single for loop. For multi-dimension, you have to use two for loops. One for the top dimension and another for the second dimension. The top dimension, top loop will, this is called as a nested for loop. Loop inside another loop. It is called a nested loop. The first loop will iterate through 0 to 3 of the rows, and the second one will loop through the elements or columns, and it will print accordingly. I hope this is clear. I think.
Yeah.
Jagged array is newer coming, and it is an array of arrays. And another thing is, for example, earlier to this, in the standard programming languages, we had fixed dimension of arrays. So, if you are declaring a two-dimensional arrays, all the element will have two dimensions. That was the case of the past. With the introduction of the jagged arrays, you can have any number of elements in a single row. So it need not be 2, 2. It can be 2, 2. It can be 2, 3. It can be the third element. Fourth element can be 5 elements. Can be in the fourth row. So you can define according to your need. Like a database table, you can define, and it will accordingly modify the size of the array. Here in the example, we have given the jagged array as 2 square brackets you have to give. I have told the first dimension, second I have left as blank. I have declared as 7 days of sales happened, and for 7 days I have given the initial row count as 7, and the second one I have left blank, mentioning we can modify that at a later point of time. So first day we had 2 sales, and the first sales we have 1 item, and second 1, 2, like that I have given. So this will be the day count, or the first dimension of the array, and the second dimension differs for each and every row. First there are 2, then there are 4, then only 1 element. Last one had more numbers. Like that you can define a jagged array. Here also, as it is a multi-dimensional array, we are having 2 loops. The first loop will go through the length of the jagged array cells, this one 7, and second loop will check for the, see, for int n is equal to 0 means first time when it comes, it will be j cells of 0 will point to this element. For the second time when it comes, it point to the second element. So this will get incremented, and first time this will get handled, second time this will get handled. So when it comes here for the first time, it will, the length j cells of 0 dot length will be counted, and this length refers to the 7. So it will, first loop will execute 7 times, and the second loop, for every time it will come and count this, take the count of the length of the first element first time, then second element second time. So first time the loop will execute for 2 times, the inside for loop will execute for 2 times, and for the second iteration it will execute for 4 times. Like that it will go. Whereas if you saw the earlier case, it will be a fixed numbers, 2. So it has only a standard 2 dimension, we have given it as 2. Whereas here it differs, so we are getting length of each and every element and iterating through that accordingly. Do you understand the concept?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. See, single dimension array, it is having the days from Monday to Sunday, and multi-dimensional array, it is having in the row column format some values, and jagged array, this is having the row column format with the standard 2 dimension thing, whereas jagged array is having different dimensions for each and every element. Hope this clarifies. Any doubts on this?
No.
And before that, I have already mentioned, I have given some comments here, you can go through this. Standard Microsoft's definition. Array can be a single dimension, multi-dimension or jagged array. This is for the non-jagged array. When the number of dimension, length of the dimension are established when the array instance is created. For a jagged array, it is different. The default values, the numeric elements are set to 0. Actually, all arrays start with the value 0, not with 1. Jagged array is an array of arrays, as I mentioned earlier, and therefore its elements are reference types are like classes or dynamic things, and it will get varied later. We will go through objects, class objects, and other things, and we will see in detail there. Arrays are indexed, and as you know, while printing the value, it showed 0, 0, 0, 1 like that. It will be an indexed value, and the index starts from 0. As it starts from 0, you have to, while you are handling through loops, you have to give it as n minus 1 like that. If you are looping through length, you have to give as n minus 1, or less than n, you have to give like that. Arrays can be declared for any type, as we have shown, integer and string we have shown here. Similarly, you can try with other types as well.
Okay.
Yeah, that's with arrays. That's I have not written the program. I will write it now. OOPS concept I will explain later in a detailed way. Now I will explain methods.